Hello and welcome. I have been attempting the Goodreads reading challenges that they've started doing, where they give you some achievements to try and gain. So some of these achievements are really easy in that you have to read a set number of books. The other achievements, you are given a list which are themed around a particular prompt and you have to read a book from that list. So far, I've managed to complete every challenge that they've set, so I'm trying to continue that winning streak. The latest challenge is their Winter challenge, which runs from January to March. Now, I would have liked to post this video sooner, but they don't announce all the achievements at the same time. Some of them get announced partway through the challenge, and the most recent one, I believe, was released on the 1st of March. Now, that was the last one, so now I can actually tell you what my TBR for this challenge is, and that is the purpose of this video. So the first of the achievements are easy. They are Page Turner, read 2 books, Speed Reader, read 3 books, and Book Boss, read 5 books. So because you can read any books for these, I'm not going to specifically choose any books to read, so I'll just move on to the next achievement. So first we have Challenge Faves. Read one of the top read books by 2025 Reading Challenge participants. For this, I am going to read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is a well-loved romantasy book, which is about Tereh, who when hunting to feed her family, kills a wolf, who turns out to actually be a fae, and for her crime she is taken to the land of the fae to live there as a prisoner. Once there, she begins to question everything that she knows about the fae, and begins to realise that the people she's left behind are in great danger. Then for Choice Archive, read one of the past winners and nominees of the Goodreads Choice Awards. For this, I'm going to read The Wager by David Grann. This is a non-fiction about the Wager that was an English ship that became shipwrecked. 2 groups of survivors are found, but their story about what happened vary greatly. And I think this is about the 2 different stories and probably getting to the bottom of what actually happened. So I've read a book by the same author as I read The Lost City of Zed many years ago. I don't remember it very well, but I gave it 3 stars. In theory, I should enjoy this one more because I'm more interested in the subject matter, but we'll see if that's the case. I got warm, so I took my jumper off. The next achievement is Lasting Reads. Read one popular book from the past 25 years. For this, I'm reading Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for years. Every year I intend to read it. Every year I don't get around to it. So this is going to be the year. This book is about Eleanor, who really isn't fine. Her life consists of working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday and spending her weekends slightly drunk on her own at home. She has poor social skills but is completely oblivious to this and has no friends. Then one day her and her colleague help a man who's fallen down in the street and an unlikely friendship develops. Then for star selections, I need to read one celebrity book club pick, and I've chosen Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This is about a haunted house and a missing author, and I don't know much else about that. Apparently it was one of the books read for Reese Witherspoon's book club, and I rather like how this edition looks. Tale Spinners, read one retelling. For this I'm going to read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a retelling of the Iliad, which I also want to read at some point. And if you've got any suggestions on which translation to read, then let me know. But the Song of Achilles is about the Battle of Troy and the hero Achilles, who is the son of a sea nymph and a king. And as a child he was dipped in the river Styx in order to gain him invulnerability. But as his heel was never exposed to the water, that is his weak spot. I have already read Circe by Madeline Miller, and it was my favourite book that I read that year. So I have high expectations of this book and have been putting it off because of that. So hopefully it does not disappoint. Then for the Black Heritage achievement, I needed to read one book for Black Heritage Month, and I've chosen Where the Wildflowers Grow by Tereh Shelton Harris. This is about Lee, who watched her whole family die, and then is the sole survivor of a prison transport crash. She hides at a flower farm where the people who live there are trying to piece their own lives back together. Then for Swoony Stories, I need to read one romance book. For this I'm reading The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. This is about a knight who will do anything to protect her mage, but this becomes more difficult when they are pulled into a war when on a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom. The particular list that I chose this book from was split into sections, and these sections were to do with particular tropes or themes within the stories. This was in a section called One Night Only, as all the stories featured knights. Then there was Persona Pick. read one book that matches a personality. As you can double up the prompts, I am also reading Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Apparently this book matches the personality of that I'm going to film myself crying over this book for TikTok reader. Now, I don't post on TikTok, but maybe I'll post myself crying on YouTube. We will see. Then the final achievement is her story, read a book for Women's History Month. For this, I'm reading How to Kill a Witch by Zoe Venditozzi and Claire Mitchell. This is a book that looks at the process of identifying, accusing, trying, and executing women as witches. Apparently, the women who wrote the book also have a podcast, but I don't know much about it, other than it's to do with witches, and I think takes a feminist approach to looking at them. But I guess I'll learn more as I read. So that is everything that I plan on reading for the Goodreads Winter Challenge. As I said earlier, I'd prefer to post these videos at the start of the challenge, but as some of the achievements are released later on, it's not really possible. And it does mean that we're actually near the end of this challenge, as it ends at the end of March. And it also means that it won't be long until you find out how well I've done in the challenge. I will say this, currently, it looks like I'm not doing well. I think in order to read everything I need to this month, I need to read over 3,000 pages, which is a task, but we'll see how we go. So, is anyone else taking part in this challenge? If so, what are you aiming on reading? And if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned today, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you in the next one.